This is Dr. Bev Knox, and you are listening to my psychology tutorial series, Learn Psychology While You Sleep. Basic motivational concepts. How do psychologists define motivation? From what perspectives do they view motivated behaviors? Psychologists define motivation as a need or desire that energizes and directs behavior. Our motivations arise from the interplay between nature, the bodily push, and nurture, the pulls from our thought processes and culture. Instinct. A complex behavior that is rigidly patterned throughout a species and is unlearned. Consider 4 perspectives of viewing motivated behaviors. We have the instinct theory, now replaced by the evolutionary perspective, focuses on genetically predisposed behaviors. Next, the drive reduction theory focuses on how we respond to our inner pushes. Then we have the arousal theory, which focuses on finding the right level of stimulation. And then, Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs focuses on the priority of some needs over others. In the early 20th century, as Charles Darwin's influence grew, it became fashionable to classify all sorts of behaviors as instincts. To qualify as an instinct, a complex behavior must have a fixed pattern throughout a species and is unlearned. Genes do predispose some species' typical behavior. When the original instinct theory of motivation collapsed, it was replaced by drive reduction theory. The idea that a physiological need, such as water or food, creates an arousal state that drives the organism to reduce the need. With few exceptions, when a physiological need increases, so does a psychological drive, an aroused, motivated state. Not only are we pushed by our need to reduce drives, we are also pulled by incentives, positive or negative environmental stimulus that lure or repel us. When there is both a need and an incentive, we feel strongly driven. Some needs take priority. At this moment, with your needs for air and water hopefully satisfied, other motives such as your desire to achieve are energized and redirected by behaviors. Abraham Maslow in 1970 described these priorities as a hierarchy of needs. At the base of this pyramid are our physiological needs, such as those for food and water. Only if these needs are met are we prompted to meet our need for safety and then to satisfy our human needs to give and receive love and to enjoy self-esteem. Beyond this, Maslow said in 1971, lies the need to actualize one's full potential. Near the end of his life, Maslow proposed that some people also reach a level of self-transcendence. People strive for meaning, purpose, and communion that are transcended beyond the self. Maslow's hierarchy is somewhat controversial. The order of such needs is not universally fixed. People have starved themselves to make a political statement. Self-esteem matters most in individualist nations. Most citizens tend to focus on more personal achievements than on family and community identity. And while agreeing with Maslow's basic levels of needs, today's evolutionary psychologists note that gaining and retaining mates and parenting offsprings are also universal human motives. Nevertheless, the simple idea that some motives are more compelling than others provides a framework for thinking about motivation. Worldwide life satisfaction surveys support the basic idea in poorer nations that lack access to money and the food and shelter it buys. Financial satisfaction more strongly predicts feelings of well-being. In wealthy nations where most are able to meet basic needs, home life satisfaction is a greater predictor.